Another PlayStation Plus Premium update has arrived, which means it's time to platinum another PlayStation classic. This time, we're looking at Resistance Retribution, originally developed by Bend Studio and released for the PSP on March 17th, 2009. Set in between the events of Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2, Retribution follows former British Lieutenant James Grayson as he tries to stop an emerging Chimeran threat in Western Europe. Now, since this is a PlayStation Classic title, the trophy list is pretty straightforward. In order to get the Platinum Trophy, we need to finish every chapter in the game on any difficulty, die at least one time, defeat 50 Chimeran soldiers, use the Augur, WS 100 times, and use 10 different weapons in our playthrough. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, it is. To make this playthrough more interesting for me, I decided to go for all the pieces of intel as well. Collecting them all will get you 4 new weapons you can use throughout the game. Now, I won't go over the locations of the collectibles in this video, but if you're interested in a separate collectibles video guide for this game, let me know in the comments down below. With all of that out of the way, it's time to go kill some Chimera, save Europe, and get a sparkling Platinum Trophy in Resistance Retribution. The game opens with a flashback showing us a fateful day for James Grayson, as he finds his own brother being turned into a Chimera. Forced to take his own brother's life, Grayson loses it and deserts his squad, vying for vengeance against the Chimera. Grayson ends up taking down over 25 conversion centers on his own, but due to his desertion, he is tried and locked up by the British government for treason. Damn, bro. It's kinda harsh. The day before his planned execution, he's visited by Lieutenant Rain Bouchard, a member of the resistance group known as the Maquis. Bouchard wants to recruit Grayson as a mercenary due to his expertise in taking down Chimeran conversion centers. Grayson is hesitant at first, but eventually agrees to Bouchard's deal after she reveals to him that she has a serum that could counteract the Chimeran virus. Now that's how you do a sales pitch, ladies and gentlemen. Grayson and Bouchard head to the city of Rottenham, which is currently overrun by the Chimera. After their plane is shot down, they parachute to safety, and here is where you first start to take control of Grayson. So while 4 out of the 5 Resistance games are played in the first-person perspective, Retribution is the outlier where it's a third-person shooter. While the camera change is different, the essence of Resistance is still there. That essence being using a bunch of different guns to take down a bunch of different Chimera. Now, in the original PSP version of the game, you use the face buttons to control the camera. That might sound really odd to some of you newer gamers, but you have to remember, the PSP had no second analog stick. However, it was possible to use a DualShock 3 to control Resistance Retribution on your PSP. You could actually use the right analog stick to control the camera, and I'm glad to confirm that this feature has returned in the PS4 and PS5 version of Resistance Retribution. Anyways, Grayson and Bouchard continue until they split up and Grayson is ordered to link up with Major Cartwright, who previously served with Grayson before his desertion. Here is where I get my first 2 trophies in Resistance Retribution, killing 50 enemies and dying for the first time. God bless the rewind function of PlayStation Plus Premium.
You disgust me. Go on.
As we continue, Grayson is tasked with destroying an enemy gun tower, which he happily obliges in doing. On his way, he meets some new enemy types, including boilers, leapers, and drones. After he defeats 2 titans and destroys a water intake valve, he meets up with Mallory and they head off to the gun tower. We get story-related trophies for finishing these chapters. Up next, Grayson and Mallory team up to take down the anti-aircraft gun tower, and this chapter makes it very clear that these two don't really like each other at all.
It's about to fire again. Come on, you'll never make it. Jump out of the way. Bollocks! Stupid midget.
Grayson ends up with a new weapon, the L-206 Lark, which is a rocket launcher, and he uses it to take down an enemy VTOL. He and Mallory successfully complete the mission, leaving us with another chapter trophy. Next up, we head over to the German city of Bonn, where Grayson, Bouchard, and Mallory search for a conversion center that Bouchard wishes to investigate. At the start, Grayson is immediately separated but manages to persevere on his own. We acquire a new weapon, the Shot Life Combat Shotgun, a very useful close-range weapon that's perfect against leapers. By the end of this chapter, Grayson defeats a hammer mech and proceeds into the conversion facility. As Grayson enters the conversion center, he runs into Mallory, who proclaims that Bouchard has been taken by the Chimera and is most likely dead. Grayson, due to his experience in dealing with the Chimera in conversion centers, believes that there is still a chance that Bouchard might be alive. Mallory responds in a way only he can.
You are a fool, Grayson. You will end up just like your brother.
Surprise, surprise! Grayson's instincts were correct, and Bouchard is actually alive. She radios in, pleading with Grayson to save her. Grayson obliges and carries on throughout the facility, taking down another hammer mech on the way and setting TNT charges against the conversion center's power core. Grayson eventually finds and frees Bouchard, but before they can escape, the two of them are attacked by two giant angel chimera. The duo defeat the angels and escape via a hammer mech that was just conveniently laying down there right beside them. Finishing the remaining 3 chapters gives us 3 more chapter trophies. The conversion center blows up and Bouchard is not pleased with Grayson since she wanted the facility intact to help with her research. Cartwright radios in and requests assistance in defeating the Chimeran mechs known as the Earth Movers. However, Bouchard and Mallory want to follow the Chimeran carriers. This argument eventually ends up with Mallory knocking out Grayson unconscious. Grayson wakes up and uses the same hammer mech to rendezvous with Cartwright in the Chimeran construction zone. In this mission, we actually get to control the mech, and this gives us the classic first-person perspective the franchise is known for. This is short-lived as the hammer is eventually destroyed and Grayson is forced to continue on foot. This chapter is where I got another miscellaneous trophy using the auger 100 times. Grayson continues on in the construction zone, and Cartwright here has one of my favorite lines in the entire game.
Cartwright, burrows are here.
Acknowledged. Oh, avoid their clouds. And I mean that. The rankest thing I've ever smelled. And I eat British food.
Grayson eventually finds and destroys the Earth Mover, giving the British forces a chance to advance. After completing all 3 missions in the Chimeran construction zone level, we are awarded with 3 chapter trophies. Cartwright picks up Grayson and they head to the McKee Fortress in Luxembourg, which is under heavy assault from the Chimera. Eventually, Grayson runs into Mallory, and this provides us with another great moment between these 2 characters.
What's that for? Because you're a frog.
Despite freeing the VTOLs, Grayson is sent to find Colonel Parker and Bouchard's father. Grayson runs into Dr. Bouchard extracting some blood from his daughter, and he's using this blood to help make a serum to counteract the Chimeran carriers. Unfortunately for Claude, they get attacked, and Claude doesn't make it. Bouchard still manages to complete her father's work and gains a sample of the Chimeran antidote. Grayson heads off to assist Cartwright to help everyone begin their evacuation plan, and with everyone out of Luxembourg safely, we manage to get all 4 chapter-related trophies for this level. The McKee and the British forces prepare a final assault on the Chimeran Tower in Paris. Bouchard is chosen to be the one to deliver the serum to the Chrysalis lair, and Grayson is not happy with that decision at all. Grayson tries to tell Cartwright and the others that Bouchard is infected, but they don't believe him. You can even see the infection affecting Bouchard in real time. Mallory orders his soldiers to lock up Grayson as the rest of them proceed with their plan. However, Cartwright and Parker eventually come to their senses and free Grayson from the holding cell. They give him another serum, and Grayson is on his way to stop Bouchard and Mallory. As he ventures to the Paris catacombs, he meets up with Mallory again as they run into a new faction of enemies, the Cloven. Think of these guys as part human, part chimera, and just part ugly. These guys actually kind of remind me of another Ben Studio enemy, the Freakers in Days Gone. I even asked the directors of this game, Jeff Ross and John Garvin, on Twitter if there was any relation between the Cloven and the Freakers, and both of them pretty much said no. I forgot that the Cloven were mentioned in intel documents in Resistance Fall of Man, and that's why they decided to explore the Cloven more in Resistance Retribution. Anyways, back to the game. Mallory betrays Grayson because of course he does, and Grayson is forced to continue deeper into the catacombs and into Cloven territory. Eventually, he stumbles into another conversion center and witnesses thousands of bodies. This causes him to self-reflect on his prior actions. After completing all the chapters in the Paris catacombs level, we once again get all the chapter-related trophies. Grayson makes his way to the Chrysalis Tower, thanks to another hammer mech, but this time he ditches his brother's jacket. This symbolizes that Grayson is finally ready to move on from the death of his brother. Damn, bro. That's deep. As Grayson fights more Chimera on his way to the Chrysalis Tower, he runs into Mallory, who now happens to be infected with a Chimeran virus. These two have a final fight to the death, and of course, our boy Grayson emerges victorious.
Fuck you, Mallory.
We're not done yet, as Grayson delves deeper into the tower in search of Bouchard. We get a new, updated version of the Augur, and once I use it, I finally got the last of the miscellaneous trophies, using 10 different weapons. Grayson runs into a Mega Fury as he attempts to inject the serum into the heart of the lair, and he succeeds, only to reveal that Bouchard has become the Chrysalis herself. Now it's time for the final boss fight between Grayson and Bouchard. Now this fight wasn't too hard, to be honest. The only attack I really had to watch out for was this laser beam Bouchard spits out once in a while. Nevertheless, Grayson ends up victorious, as always, but before the infection completely takes over Bouchard, she reveals to Grayson that the threat isn't over, and that the Chimera keep evolving. She eventually loses all of her humanity, and Grayson is forced to put her down, just like he did to his brother at the beginning of the game. And with us finishing all the chapters in Resistance Retribution, I was awarded with a very shiny Platinum Trophy. Okay, yeah, so in this clip, I died right after I killed her, but it still gave me a trophy, so it's definitely not the most climactic way I was expecting to get this, but hey man, a platinum trophy is a platinum trophy. Grayson leaves Cartwright and Parker to go out on his own, becoming an urban legend who hunts down both the Chimera and the Cloven in Eastern Europe. Now, this is the official end of Grayson's story, but according to director John Garvin, he had more Grayson stories to tell. Will we ever see James Grayson or the Resistance franchise come back in a big way? Honestly, I doubt it. It seems pretty clear that both Insomniac and Sony want to move on from this franchise, and it's been over a decade since the last official Resistance game, which was Resistance Burning Skies on the PlayStation Vita. It's a shame, because I do think there is more potential for this series in the modern era. The best we can hope for are PS5 remasters for the Resistance trilogy and Burning Skies, even though that game is not that great in my opinion, but it would be nice to have all the Resistance games playable natively on PS5 and PC one day. Resistance Retribution is one of my favorite PSP games, and I had such a blast revisiting this game on PS5 and getting the Platinum Trophy. I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in the PlayStation Plus Premium catalog. Just note that the multiplayer functionality is not accessible in this version since the servers were taken offline years ago, and the infected mode is not accessible as well, which sucks because I thought that was a really cool content update that offered new areas, weapons, and intel to collect. But that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please consider subscribing for more PlayStation content on the way, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about Resistance Retribution and PlayStation Plus Premium in general. I'm Real Radic, and thank you for watching. Peace.